Hi, Sarah from SEWNZ Sewing Patterns for Children. Chances are you're here because you are wanting to know how to sew the Banian Pants or a harem pant. That pattern's on our Etsy site, and these are the cute little pants, gathery cuffs, fold over waistband, made in a cotton elastane that holds the pants up rather than having elastic. The reason I made this pattern is because I have a pair, I've had them for 6 years and they are absolutely so comfortable. I was sitting in them one day at the computer designing a pattern and thought, I should make those. That'd be perfect. So let's go. This is the Banian Pant master sheet. I've used tracing violin, which is see-through. You can draw on it in pen to draw out each of the pattern pieces, and I'm doing the size 18 months. Okay, we've cut out the pattern pieces, 2 fronts, 2 backs, 2 cuffs and a waistband on the fold. First thing to do is to pin a front to a back with the right sides facing. Right, so the side seam and the inside seam are pinned, ready to sew with zigzag stitch. Seam sewn, 1 centimetre seam. I sew from the waist down to the ankle just to give that flow of line with the fabric as well. Great pattern to just overlock. So we're pressing towards the back. And if you press every seam as you go, what happens is there's like a memory in the fabric, knows which way it should go, and it'll always look pretty good. Might not even have to iron it. So seams are pressed, I've turned one leg inside out and I'm going to tuck it inside the other leg. Pinning tip. When you are pinning a seam to sew, put a pin at each of the parts that are marked, a pin at the seams that you are joining in your seam, at the beginning and at the end, and then pin in between. That way you've lined up your work. When sewing this crutch seam, sew from the front to the back so that you're sewing over and with those side seams. So the crutch seam is pressed to one side, following through from front to back. And today I don't have a tailoring ham, so I've just folded up a nice soft tea towel and I'm using that. Okay, we're joining the waistband, so I'm going to turn it so right sides are facing. We're pinning the short end, which is at the side of the pants, making sure it's an even pinning. Pin in between, and we're going to sew that seam. Okay, cuffs, same as the waistband, right sides facing, so the cuffs are ready to sew. So the waistband is sewn and we're going to press the seam and then fold it in half. Right, the cuffs are sewn, and a little tip, as I sew one I just sew straight into another one, thus saving thread. Press those seams and fold it like the waistband. I'm using the tailoring sausage to press this cuff seam, and even though it's a zigzag, I'm going to press it open because then it makes less bulk in the seam to attach the cuff. And I'm going to fold it over while it's on here. Make sure it's even. And also give it a little press and it's all ready to pin. Right, I've pressed this to one side because I want to open the seam up, so that when we fold the waistband over and attach it to the pants, there isn't a huge bulk in that seam. And I've also folded over and pressed it so it's easier to sew on. So cauterised the waistband, cauterised the pants, so the centre back matches up. So I've matched the pins, and as you can see there's only a slight excess here, so find the centre of each quarter and pin it evenly all the way around, ready to sew. Okay, waistband seam is sewn and we're going to press it towards the body. Okay, so we're sewing the cuffs on. Same thing, cauterise the cuff, cauterise the leg. Make sure your seam for your cuff joins on at your inner leg, and just squeeze your leg, tuck it into your cuff and pin it. Right, so I've pinned the cuff, and you can see there's a lot more than in the waistband to have to stretch the cuff for. So That's why we're using cotton elastane for the cuff and the waistband at least, because you're going to have to stretch it quite a bit and that will retract back. The cuff seam is sewn. It's quite gathered. Patience is important just to go around the seam. If you have little puckers where it's gathered together, don't worry about that. Using the tailoring sausage again, it's a great little tool. We're just going to keep ironing around the cuff, pushing it up the leg, and do it for the other side. So we've got the waistband and we're ironing that seam down towards the pants all the way around. All pressed, the cuffs look great. The waistband can be worn up so it's high pants, or we fold it over, and this is why you need the cotton elastane. There's no elastic in these pants and the cotton elastane keeps them up. So, and they could be low or even lower. Thanks for watching. I hope that helped you learn how to sew the Banian pants, or any pants at all. If you would like a link to the pattern, go down below. There'll be one to the website or to the Etsy shop where you can see a range of the products that we have for sale. I love showing how to show the patterns, how to sew it step by step. It's a great little teaching activity for me to give back to you guys. Happy sewing.